And so these tiny levels of chemical messengers travel through the bloodstream until they reach their target receptor. So if this is your natural hormone, and this might be a hormone mimic, right? Or something that is pretending to be a hormone or just happens to fit in the same docking station, so to speak, as the hormone receptor that otherwise would have been designed to only take this natural hormone. And so each receptor is designed to only respond to a specific type of message or hormone. The endocrine system functions like locks and keys with hormones and hormone receptors. So the locks or the receptors in the body can only be opened or closed or activated by the right key or hormone. And each hormone in the body has a unique chemical composition or three-dimensional shape, just like a key, and its corresponding receptor or lock. And so, for example, estrogen receptors in the body only pair with estrogen, or as you'll see, estrogen mimics. And I think I have a slide coming up that shows that. Now, let's look at some definitions of what different agencies, how different agencies define endocrine disruption. So the National Institutes of Health defines an endocrine disruptor as chemicals that may interfere with the body's endocrine system and produce adverse developmental, reproductive, neurological, and immune effects in both humans and wildlife. The Endocrine Society, which is like the world's largest academic society on the endocrine system and professionals that work in that field, they have a broader definition, which I think is this difference is really important. And they say that an endocrine disrupting chemical is an exogenous, meaning from the outside, an exogenous chemical or mixture of chemicals that can interfere with any aspect of hormone action. And the difference here matters because adverse effects, right? This adverse developmental, reproductive, neurological effect that the NIH uses doesn't usually include subtle changes in hormones or gut function, despite these things clearly leading to what we as individuals would certainly consider adverse. If we're looking at IBS or infertility or autoimmune disease, like we would consider that adverse. Now, there are a number of different ways that endocrine disrupting chemicals kind of do their dirty work, but the three primary ones are these. They can mimic or partly mimic naturally occurring hormones in the body, like estrogens, androgens, thyroid hormones, etc., which can inappropriately turn on or activate a hormone response. They can bind to a receptor and block natural hormones from binding, and they can interfere or block with the way that natural hormones or their receptors are made or controlled, for example, by altering how they're metabolized in the liver. So going back to that lock and key, this is that an example of what we're talking about here. So here's estradiol. This is that primary female sex hormone. And these are three environmental chemicals that are all endocrine disruptors. This is where did I go? Diethylstilbestrol, bisphenol A or BPA, and polychlorinated biphenyl or PCBs. Now, they're not exact matches, but you also know that if you have a physical key and you're trying to open a lock, sometimes that key might be not an exact match. It might be close enough and it will still open that lock. And so this is what we're seeing here. This is this example of this mimicry where these synthetic environmental chemicals can masquerade as our natural hormones because our body has a really hard time differentiating between all of these molecules. And bisphenol A might be able to dock in an estradiol receptor, same with diethylstilbestrol. There's many examples like this.